Today I'll talk to you about how I made this orchid or painted this orchid. I started with a sketch using a mechanical pencil, probably from the dollar store. I have no idea what I did with the stem to get it to look like that, but I know I used this watercolor pan to fill in the petals, just a mid-range tone, a nice yellow tone, with the goal of going back later to fill in the details with some white highlights and maybe some green lowlights or green shadows to define the leaves. But to start, just a clean, plain yellowish green. I mixed the yellow and the green together. This particular watercolor brand I don't know anything about. I don't even know the name of it. I just found it at home randomly. No one was using it, so I took over. The interior petals are acrylic, golden brand acrylic mixed with white acrylic paint. And then that same brand I use on the petals, so it's still the golden acrylic, the crimson color, but it's actually an acrylic wash, so mixed with water versus mixed with like a glazing medium or another acrylic paint. The background is a cheaper, obviously a sky blue brand of acrylic that I like. It just goes on in a nice thick coat and adds some contrast. So it's been a nice background color. I gravitate towards it as a background color. After everything dried, I went back in for more detail work, trying to pick out where there would be some highlights on the petals, some brighter spots with the white paint, the darker spots with the maybe a greener paint. And eventually I go on and do the same thing with colored pencils, sort of picking out and finding some details. Also adding contrast to the interior petals, which I found were looking a little lost. So they needed to be more dark darks and more bright brights in order to sort of draw the eye. The goal here wasn't really like hyperrealism or surrealism. I'm really inspired by botanical illustration, but I don't even aspire to that degree of detail work. I just kind of think of it as like an ode, or let's call it a love note, to botanical illustration. So it makes me happy, so that's what I do. I scanned it at 1200 dot per inch into my computer and then had it printed through Walgreens onto office paper. 27 cents a sheet, and it's quite sturdy, and I really enjoy that method of having things printed. I used a dollar store frame, $1.25, and you can tell it's a dollar store frame because that snaps off, but it's still functional. I trimmed it down and used the insert just as some background there, and styled it for my Etsy page, and I'll try to leave the link below so you can print one for yourself.